Starchy foods and carbohydrates. Starchy foods are our main source of carbohydrate and play an important role in a healthy diet. Starchy foods such as potatoes, bread, rice, pasta and cereals should make up just over a third of the food you eat, as shown by the Eat Well guide. Where you can, choose whole grain varieties, and eat potatoes with their skins on for more fiber. We should eat some starchy foods every day as part of a healthy, balanced diet. During cooking, aim for a golden yellow color or lighter when baking, toasting, roasting or frying starchy foods like potatoes, root vegetables and bread. Find out why you should cook starchy foods this way. This page also has health benefits and storage advice for potatoes, bread, cereals, rice, pasta. Why do you need starchy foods? Starchy foods are a good source of energy and the main source of a range of nutrients in our diet. As well as starch, they contain fiber, calcium, iron and B vitamins. Some people think starchy foods are fattening, but gram for gram they contain fewer than half the calories of fat. Just watch out for the added fats used when you cook and serve them. This is what increases the calorie content. Starchy foods and fiber. Whole grain varieties of starchy foods and potatoes, particularly when eaten with their skins on, are good sources of fiber. Fiber is the name given to a range of compounds found in the cell walls of vegetables, fruits, pulses and cereal grains. Fiber that cannot be digested helps other food and waste products move through the gut more easily. Potato skins, whole grain bread and breakfast cereals, brown rice, and whole wheat pasta are good sources of this kind of fiber. Fiber can help keep our bowels healthy and can help us feel full, which means we're less likely to eat too much. This makes whole grain starchy foods and potatoes eaten with their skins on a particularly good choice if you're trying to lose weight. Some types of fiber, present in fruits and vegetables such as apples, carrots, potatoes, oats and pulses, can be partly digested, and may help reduce the amount of cholesterol in the blood. Tips to eat more starchy foods. These tips can help you increase the amount of starchy foods in your diet. Breakfast. Opt for whole grain cereals, or mix them in with your favorite healthy breakfast cereals. Plain porridge with fruit is perfect as a warming winter breakfast. Whole oats with fruit and low-fat, lower-sugar yogurt make a great summer breakfast. Lunch and dinner. Try a baked potato for lunch. Eat the skin for even more fiber. Instead of having chips or frying potatoes, try making oven-baked potato wedges. Have more rice or pasta and less sauce, but don't skip the vegetables. Try different breads, such as seeded, wholemeal and granary. When you choose whole grain varieties, you'll also increase the amount of fiber you're eating. Try brown rice, it makes a very tasty rice salad. Types of starchy foods. Nutrition information, presentation and storage advice for common starchy foods. Potatoes. Potatoes are a great choice of starchy food and a good source of energy, fiber, B vitamins and potassium. In the UK, we also get a lot of our vitamin C from potatoes. Although they only contain vitamin C in small amounts, we generally eat a lot of them. They're good value for money and can be a healthy choice. Although potatoes are vegetables, in the UK we mostly eat them as the starchy food part of a meal, and they're a good source of carbohydrate in our diets. Because of this, potatoes don't count towards your 5 portions of fruit and vegetables a day, but they can play an important role in your diet. Potatoes are a healthy choice when boiled, baked, mashed or roasted with only a small amount of fat or oil and no added salt. French fries and other chips cooked in oil or served with salt are not a healthy choice. When cooking or serving potatoes, try to go for lower fat, polyunsaturated spreads or small amounts of unsaturated oils, such as olive or sunflower oil, instead of butter. In mashed potato, use lower fat milk, such as semi-skimmed, 1% fat or skimmed milk, instead of whole milk or cream. Leave potato skins on where possible to keep in more of the fiber and vitamins. For example, eat the skin when you're having boiled potatoes or a baked potato. If you're boiling potatoes, some nutrients will leak out into the water, especially if you've peeled them. To stop this happening, only use enough water to cover them and cook them only for as long as they need. Storing potatoes in a cool, dark and dry place will help stop them sprouting. Don't eat any green, damaged or sprouting bits of potatoes as these can contain toxins that can be harmful. Bread, especially wholemeal, granary, brown and seeded varieties, is a healthy choice to eat as part of a balanced diet. Whole grain, wholemeal and brown breads give us energy and contain B vitamins, vitamin E, fiber and a wide range of minerals. White bread also contains a range of vitamins and minerals, but it has less fiber than whole grain, wholemeal or brown breads. If you prefer white bread, look for higher fiber options. Some people avoid bread because they're concerned that they're allergic to wheat, or they think bread is fattening. However, cutting out any type of food altogether might mean you miss out on a whole range of nutrients people need to stay healthy. If you're concerned that you have a wheat allergy or intolerance, speak to your GP. Bread can be stored at room temperature. Follow the best before date to make sure you eat it fresh. Cereal products are made from grains. Whole grain cereals can contribute to our daily intake of iron, fiber, B vitamins and protein. Higher fiber options can also provide a slow release of energy. Wheat, oats, barley, rye and rice are commonly available cereals that can be eaten as whole grains. This means cereal products consisting of oats and oatmeal, like porridge, and whole wheat products are healthy breakfast options. Barley, couscous, corn and tapioca also count as healthy cereal products. Many cereal products in the UK are refined, with low whole grain content. They can also be high in added salt and sugar. When you're shopping for cereals, check the food labels to compare different products. Rice and grains are an excellent choice of starchy food. They give us energy, are low in fat, and good value for money. There are many types to choose from, including all kinds of rice, such as quick cook, arborio, basmati, long grain, brown, short grain and wild couscous bulgur wheat, as well as carbohydrates. Rice and grains, particularly brown and whole grain versions, can contain fiber, which can help the body get rid of waste products, B vitamins, which help release energy from the food we eat and help the body work properly. Rice and grains, such as couscous and bulgur wheat, can be eaten hot or cold and in salads. There are a few precautions you should take when storing and reheating cooked rice and grains. This is because the spores of some food poisoning bugs can survive cooking. If cooked rice or grains are left standing at room temperature, the spores can germinate. The bacteria multiply and produce toxins that can cause vomiting and diarrhea. Reheating food won't get rid of the toxins. It's therefore best to serve rice and grains when they've just been cooked. If this isn't possible, cool them within an hour after cooking and keep them refrigerated until reheating or using in a cold dish. It's important to throw away any rice and grains that have been left at room temperature overnight. If you aren't going to eat rice immediately, refrigerate it within 1 hour and eat within 24 hours. Rice should be reheated thoroughly, reaching a core temperature of 70 C for 2 minutes or equivalent, so it's steaming hot throughout. Rice shouldn't be reheated more than once, it should be discarded. Don't reheat rice unless it's been chilled down safely and kept in the fridge until you reheat it. Follow the use-by date and storage instructions on the label for any cold rice or grain salads that you buy. Pasta in your diet. Pasta is another healthy option to base your meal on. It consists of dough made from durum wheat and water, and contains iron and B vitamins. Whole wheat or whole grain are healthier alternatives to ordinary pasta, as they contain more fiber. We digest whole grain foods more slowly, so they can help us feel full for longer. Dried pasta can be stored in a cupboard and typically has a long shelf life, while fresh pasta will need to be refrigerated and has a shorter lifespan. Check the food packaging for best before or use-by dates and further storage instructions. Acrylamide in starchy food. Acrylamide is a chemical that's created when many foods, particularly starchy foods like potatoes and bread, are cooked for long periods at high temperatures, such as when baking, frying, grilling, toasting and roasting. There's evidence to show acrylamide can cause cancer. The Food Standards Agency has the following tips to reduce your risk of acrylamide at home. Go for gold. Aim for a golden yellow color or lighter when baking, toasting, roasting or frying starchy foods like potatoes, root vegetables and bread. Check the pack. Follow the cooking instructions carefully when frying or oven heating packaged food products such as chips, roast potatoes and parsnips. The on-pack instructions are designed to cook the product correctly. This ensures you aren't cooking starchy foods for too long or at temperatures that are too high. Eat a varied and balanced diet. While we can't completely avoid risks like acrylamide in food, this will help reduce your risk of cancer. This includes basing meals on starchy carbohydrates and getting your 5 a day. Avoid frying or roasting potatoes and root vegetables. Instead, boil or steam them, as this will both reduce your risk of acrylamide and cut down on fat. Don't keep raw potatoes in the fridge. Storing raw potatoes in the fridge can increase overall acrylamide levels. Raw potatoes should ideally be stored in a dark, cool place at temperatures over 6°C. Beans and pulses in your diet. Pulses include beans, lentils and peas. They're a cheap, low-fat source of protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, and count towards your recommended 5 daily portions of fruit and vegetables. A pulse is an edible seed that grows in a pod. Pulses include all beans, peas and lentils, such as baked beans, red, green, yellow and brown lentils, chickpeas, chana or garbanzo beans, garden peas, black-eyed peas, runner beans, broad beans, fava beans, kidney beans, butter beans, lima beans, haricots, cannellini beans, flageolet beans, pinto beans and borlotti beans. Why eat pulses? Pulses are a great source of protein. This means they can be particularly important for people who don't get protein by eating meat, fish or dairy products. But pulses can also be a healthy choice for meat eaters. You can add pulses to soups, casseroles and meat sauces to add extra texture and flavor. This means you can use less meat, which makes the dish lower in fat and cheaper. Pulses are a good source of iron. Pulses are also a starchy food and add fiber to your meal. Eating a diet high in fiber is associated with a reduced risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Pulses are often bought in tins. If you buy tinned pulses, check the label and try to choose ones that have no added salt or sugar. Pulses and 5 a day. It's recommended we get at least 5 daily portions of a variety of fruit and vegetables, and pulses count towards your 5 a day. One portion is 80 grams, which is equivalent to around 3 heaped tablespoons of cooked pulses. But if you eat more than 3 heaped tablespoons of beans and pulses in a day, this still only counts as one portion of your 5 a day. This is because while pulses contain fiber, they don't give the same mixture of vitamins, minerals and other nutrients as fruit and vegetables. This excludes green beans, such as broad beans and runner beans, which are counted as a vegetable and not a bean or pulse for 5 a day. Don't let flatulence put you off pulses. Baked beans are renowned for their effect on the bowels. This is because beans contain undigestible carbohydrates. Soaking and rinsing dry beans before cooking, as well as rinsing canned beans in water, can help to reduce these hard-to-digest carbohydrates. You shouldn't let a bit of wind put you off eating pulses. People react differently to certain foods and may find that symptoms subside, especially if you increase your intake gradually. Cooking and storing pulses safely. Typically, pulses are bought either tinned or dried. Tinned pulses have already been soaked and cooked, so you only need to heat them up or add them straight to salads if you're using them cold. Dried pulses need to be soaked and cooked before they can be eaten. Dried kidney beans and soya beans contain toxins, so it's important to ensure they have been cooked properly before you eat them. Cooking times vary depending on the type of pulse and how old they are, so follow a recipe or the instructions on the packet. Cooking kidney beans safely. Kidney beans contain a natural toxin called lectin. This can cause stomach aches and vomiting. The toxin is destroyed by proper cooking. Tinned kidney beans have already been cooked, so you can use them straight away. When using dried kidney beans, follow these 3 steps to destroy the toxins. Soak the dried beans in water for at least 12 hours. Drain and rinse the beans, then cover them with fresh water. Boil them vigorously for at least 10 minutes, then simmer the beans for around 45 to 60 minutes to make them tender. Cooking soya beans safely. Soya beans contain a natural toxin called a trypsin inhibitor. This can stop you digesting food properly. The toxin is destroyed by proper cooking. Tinned soya beans have already been cooked, so you can use them straight away. When using dried soya beans, follow these 3 steps to destroy the toxins. Soak the dried beans in water for at least 12 hours. Drain and rinse the beans, then cover them with fresh water. Boil them vigorously for 1 hour, then simmer the beans for about 2 to 3 hours to make them tender. Storing cooked pulses. If you cook pulses and you aren't going to eat them immediately, cool them as quickly as possible and then put them in the fridge or freeze them. As with all cooked foods, don't leave cooked pulses at room temperature for more than an hour or two because this allows bacteria to multiply. If you keep cooked pulses in the fridge, eat them within 2 days. It should be safe to keep pulses frozen for a long time, as long as they stay frozen. But keeping food frozen for too long can affect its taste and texture. Follow the freezer manufacturer's instructions on how long types of food can be kept frozen.